Is this everything to your satisfaction?
Looking good, looking good. It's been a minute and a half. So far, I have zero anxiety about this. It's so perfect.
Okay.
Because I'm not the one who does the editing, so
I'm trying to give myself a break on that, but
the whole world keeps fighting against you.
what do you got there to drink, sir?
Oh, hey, Rob.
Andrew Bellman.
I am having a Huss Copper State IPA.
Okay. I have the crispy from the shop. Cheers.
Delicious.
Arizona is a wildly beautiful place, brimming with over 100 brewing companies. I'm Rob Fulmer, the Executive Director of the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild. I'm joined by Deputy Director Andrew Bauman. Together we cover the state, bringing you the best of what's happening at our breweries and beyond. Welcome to Arizona Beer Frontier.
Yeah, so welcome back to Phoenix. You've been up in Flagstaff a whole bunch.
Sure, yeah. I've been up there. I've been down here, but yeah, I'm trying to spend a little more time up there.
Tell me about the beer value going on in Flagstaff right now.
The beer value is I can come down the hill and experience beer, and then go back up the hill and not experience beer. I did yesterday.
His house is at the top of a hill.
Yesterday,
When you say down the hill, it means like to Phoenix, but you don't have to do that for beer value.
well, I am on Hospital Hill.
You are, yes.
And I biked down to Lumberyard, had a bowl of chili, talked to a few folks, did some work, and then I biked over to the Elks Lodge, which is close to my house, and I had a New York strip steak because it was cook your own steak night.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm still digesting that thing there. Yeah.
Were there any side items? I'm sure our listeners
Oh, yeah,
want to
baked
know.
potato, vegetables, side
great.
salad.
Awesome. How much were beers?
I just had one beer.
Mm-hmm.
I think out the door it was $29
Okay.
with tip.
Okay, great. I love it.
So yeah, I mean, you're gonna pay $45-50 just for that steak alone.
I went to a local place in Chandler and had, on Friday, Bonnie said, I want steak. I said, okay, I'll go get some and make them. She's like, I don't want a messy kitchen, just go buy one. So I went to BKD's and they carry a lot of Arizona beer. And I was $55 walking out with, I had the pork chop and she had the steak and she really liked her steak. So that was great. It got the job done, the show.
Right on. So that's
No
why
beer value.
that's why I had a salad today. At lunch.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah. So we are on the eve of our nation's anniversary, July 4th, Independence Day.
Or the EV.
ED.
Yeah.
Yeah. So came down here to attend a meeting of the formulation of the new Arizona Craft Brewers Guild board.
Right. We had an election that ended in the beginning of June, and then we have some business to finish up, and the new board started yesterday. So we put
Although they didn't have officer positions hired out.
right. So we had a meeting today, and we decided, or we didn't. We sat there. They determined who is going to be the officers, and discussed a little bit about some appointments they may make and some general organizational things that have to happen when you have a new board
Right.
seated.
And we just generally discussed general political strategies, government affairs, our finances, events, and it's an opportunity for them to, even though we only had one turnover, and one person come back elected and one person that's new, so they shuffled the deck on who's going to be responsible for what, but I don't think we had a face-to-face in a while, and so We just tried to reinstill what the basic mission of the organization is and what changes they want to make with all the things that we just talked about. So
4 of the 5 board members were at the meeting, which was at Oso Arcadia. In addition, Ken Wilson from Lumberyard Brewing attended,
yeah,
and
Camila,
Camila was
our
there
counsel.
to help us as well. That was nice. And
She lives right down the street.
it was still nice that she was there. Jesus. And Dylan was in California
Yeah.
on vacation, so we actually tried getting this meeting together 3 weeks ago, and then it just pushed because there were too many vacations and other things going on. So we ended up doing it today, and we knew that we would have at least one. I thought 2 that weren't going to be able to make it, but turns out 1. So
Right.
that was the best we could do. But
So
it was amazing having everyone in the same room.
We changed out the timing of this so that we could seat board members prior to discussing what our legislative agenda is. In the past, you would appoint somebody and we'd be halfway to 3/4 of the way through the legislative process, and it would be too late to introduce new ideas. Or potentially you could have somebody say, hey, I just joined the board. I'm not down for what we're doing right now. So to avoid that, we changed timing. So with that, we also, we were cognizant of when people typically take vacations. So,
We could call this Brewery Education Corner.
yeah.
This
Okay.
is so that our members understand why we change things and why we do things.
Right.
Why laws happen and things.
Sure. Okay. So do we want to? The new person joining the board is Jamie Dickman from Barria, who is the chief executive officer, I believe. Chief
I don't
operating
know.
officer.
President?
It's a
I
chief
don't know.
of something. So, very good.
Yeah,
Mario
thanks.
Kuzi.
Doing what I can.
So she joined the board, and so returning were Dylan DiMiguel, who was elected for another 2-term, and then we have 3 one-year terms that are in their last year. That is Kristen Drews from Throne, that is Cale Aylesworth from Oso, and Marshall from Simple Machine. So of those,
Nice roster you put out there, Rob.
of those we have
Way to go, coach.
an at-large member who is
Ken Wilson.
no
What?
Dylan. No,
Oh, no.
no.
Dylan.
Marshall is the at-large member.
No.
No, he's the treasurer.
Yeah, what's going on?
I don't know who is the at-large member. Let's just
Kale is the president. Dylan is the VP.
yeah.
Kristen is the
Treasurer.
treasurer. Oh,
Marshall is
Marshall's the secretary. So Jamie is the
Jamie's the at-large.
at large. Yeah. So at large, you're like, oh, what does that mean? Essentially, for our organization, the at large board member is more engaged in overall membership engagement. So reaching out to new breweries, but we're not leaving that just to Jamie, the brand new board member who's still learning how this organization works. We're pairing her up with some other appointed members, which will be named later, since they're not necessarily determined who it's going to be yet. We have 1 or 2 already set, but that's not the whole picture, and I don't
Right.
really want to
They
jump
can-
into that yet.
They can appoint up to 4 total, for a total of 9.
Right.
So
0 to 4, so it could just be 5. It could be non-board members.
right, and they can split. They can split the function between an executive board and a larger board. They could do all kinds of things. So it's a little too early to see how that's going to work out.
They can also recruit committee members who aren't necessarily board members,
Yeah.
and committee leaders who are not necessarily board members.
Mm-hmm.
And the board that we talked with today seems super fired up about their mission and doing some great things. So I'm excited.
Good. Yeah.
Thank you. I try.
We've had more experienced brewery owners, not necessarily on the board in the past, and we had some more people who had board experiences elsewhere. I think it was just good to every once in a while refocus everybody on what the job is. And this year, I think, you know, we stand behind our 10-year record of having positive outcomes for our breweries, both policy-wise and event-wise and PR-wise. But this year, we're asking our board to do a little bit more outreach to our members who often don't get to see the effects of what we've asked for and what we've received. Some of them got into this before or after we made the change, and we're aware that we had to fight for that. So
10 years ago, there was a 10.
10, 11 for me.
No, 10 years ago, there was Arizona Beer Bill.
Yeah.
And 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. And that changed a lot of the landscape and the privileges that microbrewery licenses had.
Right.
And it took a lot of work. It took months and months and months of work and rallies and meeting with members of the Arizona legislature over and over to get the message through and about how important this is. We had the support of many of our distributors in this. We had several of the alcohol consensus group participants that were also on our side to help get this pushed through.
Yeah.
It was not part of that
People,
bill.
the general public.
It was an independent bill. And in the last 8 years, we've had a lot of breweries open that's all they know.
Right.
They don't know the things they couldn't do before that bill passed.
Right. Or the access we have to policymakers that we didn't have back then. Anyway, this is getting to be a little bit inside baseball. So what do we have on the
Doing what I
agenda?
can, bro.
What do we do?
I
on the
know.
agenda?
So we had a long meeting. These people sat with us for 3
Right.
hours.
So let's not make our listeners sit through the
Sit
same
there
meeting.
for 3 hours?
Yeah, let's move on.
God.
We don't have much more to say about it.
I was very thankful. Well, while you're up in Flagstaff, you got to meet the new owner of Wanderlust Brewing, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Turns out his name is Nathan.
Nate is back.
Yeah, it's a different Nathan.
Different Nate.
So he goes by Nate, but his name is Nathan. He worked at Mother Road. He is the brewer there at Wanderlust. He was working there for a while. He and his family got together and they made an offer and finally went through at the end of
June.
mid-June.
Mid-June.
And I got to talk to him and like I told him like, hey, we were kind of following along and you're the second Nathan and it's the third owner, so we're calling it W3N2. And they laughed about that. They have some challenges ahead, obviously. There was some, even in the best circumstances, when you change owners that quickly, things can change for the customer. If you're just up there for the weekend in Flagstaff, maybe you wouldn't even have noticed it. Their regular customers seem to embrace the change. I mean, I don't think they actually announced it, but there was a lot of people there who had returned to the brewery that hadn't been there in a while.
Are they gonna have a projector for movies?
I don't know. I don't believe that's on the top of their list, but they do. They
I
do
hope
have.
I can help with that.
They do have some pre-existing agreements that they need to work through. They need to understand what their packaging situation is going to be, what the demand's going to be. Will they be working with their distributor, or will they be putting that on pause? That's something that they're working through right now.
Are they working with Manuel Brothers?
No,
Oh,
they were with prior. The first owner, Nathan, right towards the end side of things.
oh, okay.
So,
Huh.
but I'm like, you should get as much information as possible and not necessarily go headfirst into whatever you got time. So, if you have been in the brewery, you notice they have a blonde ale. It's something that they didn't used to have. So, we'll see how long it takes them to sort of put their own mark on what the beer catalog is.
And now the brewer is running the organization.
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah. So, they are in a side of town that they are probably more reliant on local business. Everyday Flagstaffians.
Yep. Yeah. Not something you're going to see from the highway.
Yeah, yeah. So that was good. I mean, because we kind of had been sitting on the information that there were a couple offers, and we were just kind of waiting to see how this would all wash out. And again,
That makes us nervous. Like,
yeah.
personally, we care about every brewery in Arizona.
yeah,
And when we hear that there's turmoil,
Yeah.
it really gets in us. And I think, everyone in the industry feels that way a little bit. But people ask us a lot more questions, and maybe it's more important to us as an organization than some other brewery in a
Yeah.
different part of the state. But for us, when there is that kind of uncertainty, what's going to happen, it weighs on us.
right.
So knowing there's a brewer at the helm who's excited about the possibilities, that's super cool.
Yeah, he lives in Flagstaff, and his wife works for NAU, and his father, has roots in New Mexico. So, we'll see what happens. We wish them all the luck, and I'll be checking in here and there as I spend some time up there.
Happy summer to Flagstaff Rob. Nice to have you visit.
Hey, so it is warm down here.
It is. It's miserable.
It's a good reason to not be here.
It's
But
record
Let
warm,
me tell you
though.
something. I also go there when it's cold and
Yeah.
and when it's wet, and some people think it's miserable. I like it. But there is a period, and that period is now, when it is 20 degrees cooler there, but it can still be very uncomfortable. And there's not a lot of places that have air conditioning. Some places do. Most of your restaurants do. But Waterlust, I don't believe, they have swamp.
They have swamp coolers, yeah.
So they can get miserable in this time of year.
Industrial places, that's what happens, yeah.
Yeah, and our house does not have air conditioning, so if you accidentally leave a window open too long, the rest of your 24 hours can be miserable.
Yeah.
You gotta let the cool air in, and
Yeah.
when it's cool, and then you gotta shut the whole house down and
Right.
lock it down.
Once it hits that magic, 2 p.m.,
yeah, you
gotta lock it
maybe
down.
before 10 o'clock, some parts of the house.
Yankee schnikey.
So, people hey, it's so great to be up there, but inevitably you're on a patio, and if you're not in the shade, it's still not. I'm like, you could do better in Phoenix if you pick the right place with nice cold air conditioning, nice marble bar top, darker.
So nice.
Yeah, no. So it's all relative.
We're going to be going to Look Cinemas and to see a movie this weekend.
How are you?
It's going to be cold, lovely.
Did we discuss we did last, or a couple weeks ago?
No,
we didn't.
No, Look Brewing is no longer making beer, and they are looking for someone to take over that space. They don't necessarily want to sell it, maybe a contractual arrangement. It's not for me to decide, it's for the parties
Sure.
involved. But somehow to have a brewery available for people to make beer and also potentially contract brew for the theater itself.
Yeah. Yes. That seems to be something that wasn't on the radar. My hat is off to that organization for not immediately decommissioning the brewery.
Yeah.
Because all it would be is extra atrium space. You don't usually mill around inside of the theater lobby.
But look, even over the bars where all their tanks are,
Yeah. So, it would be better served if it was used in the fashion
Absolutely.
they did discuss. There's also another Northern Arizona brewery, North Central, that's sort of going to change. That brewery. We can only say what we know online, which everybody else is reading.
That brewery had reached out to offer an opportunity to other Arizona breweries for additional capacity, and it seems like they found an organization.
Right.
I don't know who it is or what their history is, but they're going to rebrand part of that brewery as the
Public Tap Room.
Public Tap Room.
Yes.
TPT.
Yeah, so that in the brewery experience will be called that. That brewery in Pine is same, nothing changes. They will have that brewery's beer on presumably at some point they'll have some other brands there. I don't think they've capped it as necessarily one. They might do some other beers there. We'll see. But they have a different. It's just basically a different business. To understand based on the social media posts that Steve and Tamara are part of that organization. So it's in a lot of cases in other industries this would be sort of a somewhat seamless. There's no story like. All of a sudden, well, they just rebadged the tap room something else, But
Right.
there's different investors, employees, presumably principals of that organization, working together to continue that brewery name, to be able to supply beer for the grocery store.
Distribution across the state.
Right.
When I was coming down from Real Wild and Woody, I stopped in and Tamara and Steve were both there. We had a nice chat. At this point, it was unknown what was happening, and she was super excited about the prospect. They've run it for over 10 years. They're just want to spend more time on their lives, and Steve was the head brewer. He was there every single day in Pine and commuting a lot. And
before they got the RV, he used to sleep in the loft.
Yep, they had a loft above their grain area.
Which couldn't have been really this time of
Comfy.
year. And then he was out of an RV, and so that nomadic lifestyle would probably be a great relief not to have to do all the time. So
They were extremely excited about the future and what was going to happen in Cottonwood and also Pine, and just having new opportunities to control their own time.
Sure. So that's
It went from me being worried, like, oh God, the
Yeah.
brewery, what's happening, what's going on, to after I spoke with them being very excited
Right.
about the future for them and the organization.
right.
Hey,
There are perhaps other opportunities like that. So if you are one of the listeners that is in the industry or industry adjacent or whatever, you can reach out to us. We might be able to share some other information.
or guide you or give you some contacts or
Because this is where, the foresight to have these alternating proprietorships and working with the department and getting licensing sort of streamlined is going to hopefully pay dividends for people who are transitioning in and out of the industry. And maybe we'll arrive at a more efficient brewing model for your scratch taproom brewery. Maybe this will help add versatility. We don't know who the investors are or what their background is, but we'll see. I'm excited to kind of follow along. What else do we have in that? I thought we had some other news. No?
in that area. Well,
No, I mean, I'm cheating on.
oh yeah, I have more. So another Nate, interesting. My favorite Home Depot manager at the Home Depot right by my house, super fan of beer. He went to Cottonwood and hung out at Maynard's Winery, thought it was beautiful. Also spent some quality time over at Smelter Town.
Yes.
Almost missed it. Yeah, Alina spent some time over at Smelter Town, had nothing but great things to say about the beer there. So if you're looking for a way to lose a few degrees off your weekend, you should head up to Cottonwood. Check it out. Some cool stuff going on.
You can say shit.
I know I can, but I'm trying
You
not to.
used all of your swears up last week.
I used all my swears, and also I was sitting in that room with a nice small person, and I was like, I just did it again right in front of the small person.
Oh, and our meeting. No, I was talking about our last podcast.
You know that too? Like so many, so now I'm thinking about it, so thank you for that. All right, what else do we have? We have...
Well, I just Flagstaff stuff going on.
Yeah.
Flagstaff Brewing Company is 30 years old, but
their anniversary is Saturday, I think.
really,
Soon. Definitely soon.
well, they haven't posted. And they're usually pretty low key about this stuff to the point of, to me, being annoying. I'm like, when are you going to do your anniversary? I don't know. They had they celebrated the passing of one of their former staff members not too long ago, so it was really hard for me to lay into them about,
gotcha.
like, are you going to have a anniversary or what? And I hadn't heard, so if you're saying that they posted something recently,
I didn't say that. It was in my calendar.
yeah. See, the thing with anniversaries is,
They move.
well, and they should. So
Yes.
you don't know if I mean it's no coincidence that they always fall on a weekend, right?
That's
Generally
right.
speaking.
Amazing.
Yeah,
True.
and they try to work around other businesses, but now that the sort of thing, the market's a little crowded, like you could have you could have an anniversary twice a week. Yeah, see, I don't see any announcements. So I'm going to just say, if you're up there, congratulate them on their 30th.
There you go.
And I'll try to get to the bottom of it, but I mean, that's 30 years.
That's huge.
It's quite the continuously open, right? So they share that with Beaver Street. One could argue, and they have argued, that Barrio has a beer that they've made for 30 years, because when they were Joe Benz, back in the day, Prescott had that claim. They're no longer in business. As
Electric.
a couple of years ago. Electric has had the same timeline, but they haven't always been open, and they haven't always been open under the same name.
And they haven't had the same owner.
Right. It's a new order. So, I mean,
But still, it's a legacy name, a legacy brand in the state, for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So
Say Electric Brewing and
If
people
you-
know what you're talking about.
if you have a state where it's clear who the oldest brewery is, and it's just one and there's no argument, that is a less interesting story than the ways I mean, for gosh sake, we have two towns that are fighting over the longest rodeo. One is the longest in years, and one is the longest continuous. I forget which is which. But
Look at this state.
It's Payson and Prescott, so they both have something nice to
Well,
say.
Prescott Rodeo is this weekend.
Okay.
Get ready.
Okay.
You can get down there.
Should
if you
I be
want.
angry that they got a bunch of money from the state legislature and the budget again?
For the rodeo?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I don't wish them any.
We're more important. We got nothing.
Yeah.
So,
I would take a Amazon gift card at this point.
yes.
For the
That's correct.
legislature.
That's correct.
So, what else is going on at Flagstaff? If you're up there now, the East Side Tap Room for Historic is open every day. That's going on. It continues to amaze me that people haven't discovered the Beaver Street patio, which is shaded, and secluded, and quiet. But there you have it.
I mean, even the train isn't that loud as it
Yeah.
goes by.
Dark Sky just released they released it a couple weeks ago, the Ernell IPA. I think it's a really good IPA. Like, it should be something that people will enjoy every day. It's not over the top. It's just a good, enjoyable IPA.
Man, I hope they enter that in GABF and the Arizona Craft Beer Awards.
I don't know what their plans are for that. They were in competitions for quite a while. I probably had really good opportunities to win medals, and I don't know if they are still doing that, but just not talking about it as much. Because psychically and spiritually and superstition-wise, that can be a strategy. Like, hey, let's just do what we're doing and not
Say anything.
don't put the pressure on ourselves like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
needlessly. But I don't know. But I had one of those on the anniversary of their passing, and yeah, it's a nice beer. And there were fires going on actually closer to Prescott, but the smoke was everywhere in Flagstaff. So I didn't get a chance to go to the open mic night yesterday, but I went the week before. Saw your son again. It seems to be his hangout, so
I guess so. That's nice.
yeah.
Glad he has a hangout.
I didn't want to ruin his Monday by being there 2 consecutive weeks.
Ah,
Yeah.
look at you. I don't think you'd ruin it. And then Grand Canyon, Flagstaff.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of construction going on, so you should take a little drive over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
On the street. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Milton is Milton and Beulah are kind of merging together right where that Target is, and in the end it's going to be good. But yeah, they're probably having a little bit of a decrease in business potentially because of that.
It's tricky to get in there. So yeah.
It's not true, but
All right, I take it back.
no, I mean, if you don't know anything about it, don't go like, oh, I heard it's tricky. It's not tricky. But if you're driving there, you're like, there's orange barricades and stuff.
You just have to turn right at the light. It's super simple.
And I think everybody coming from the south doesn't want to see a construction barricade.
No, we're sick of them. I mean, you Flagstaffers, you know what those are like.
Yeah. So
And that too. Hey, you know what else is going on in the rest of the state?
the 4th of July.
In Tucson, Slow Body
Oh, okay.
is now open to the public. So we mentioned them before that they had beer available at Tap and Bottle.
Yeah.
They've now opened, as of June 22nd, they opened their tap room.
Yeah. Boy, it would be nice to get down there before it gets too hot. Oh, never mind. It's
Oh.
hot. No, we haven't been down there since
Bah.
Baja. Yeah, probably should make some time to get down there.
I think I did.
Yeah, I think you
Different
did.
reason.
Yeah, you went to.
Stuff.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep track.
So I think that's about all I have to say about Flagstaff, other than
Well, that's why I moved on to Tucson.
other than I'm going back immediately after this podcast, more or less.
Yes.
No, we've had some things that we had to work on up there, like that we let go for a little bit. We had to change out some appliances, and we just finally got our windows finished. We started the process in January, and
We started the process at Real Wild and Woodsy last year.
Oh, that's true. You're right.
So, yes.
Yeah. So we got that going on.
Nice. Don't start a window project in Flagstaff in January. Okay. Just don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we have? We have Phoenix Magazine announcing their best of for 2024, and I had a meeting and they let it slip, although the magazine's now been actually sent out, that Phantom Fox was the best new brewery of the year. That was pretty cool. Got to spend some quality time yammering with Val.
Right.
Yeah, it was nice.
I haven't seen those guys in a while.
They were moving.
Okay. So
Yeah, it's
I totally had a blank.
oh damn.
Had to do with the competition, I thought. Oh, yes. Sorry.
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah. Edit this out.
We do one of these.
Now we have like, would be cool if I had AI. I just make a hand gesture and it gets rid of the last 25 seconds. No. The awards that you're talking about for Phoenix Magazine, those are the editor awards, right? It's not in a reader's choice. Is that?
I think that they're both. I think it's one magazine, and they include both. I believe it was Reader's Choice.
Right. So to me, it's kind of a marketing and branding thing. I don't want people to be confused when we roll out in October and say these are the best beers, because these are judged by peers. So it is a blind competition. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yes, however, Best New Brewery is not a beer competition.
No, that's what I said. It's a mix between editorial.
It's a business competition. Yeah,
okay.
correct.
So
It is not let's judge 50 beers and see which
Right.
one's our favorite. No.
Right.
It's here, which is the Best New Brewery, and it was them.
good for them.
I know. And wait till next year because they have 6 choices so far.
Mm.
We've got all of them I've talked about, except for also the Friendship Village.
Oh yeah.
That's the only one that was before my list.
Oh, gotcha.
Who knows? There might be. I mean, Arroyo Chico is still going. What was the one in Phoenix that changed their name? There's a brewery in Phoenix that was going to be Safe Haven, and then went to be Chico Cerveceria, and is now something else.
Don't know.
Cerveceria. Save.
Turns out it could change right on the day that you open.
Could change the day you open. Ask Family Fox.
Ask Rent House.
Ask Rent House. Yes, I still have a westbound growler.
Right on, yeah.
So that happened. Congratulations to Family Fox, and thank you to Phoenix Magazine for your support of the Arizona brewing culture. They do a great job with that. The Arizona Craft Beer Awards. You were alluding to that. Entries open tomorrow. So, I'm sorry, yesterday from when this comes out. So brewer entries are now open for the Arizona Craft Beer Awards, and also judging signups start tomorrow, and that's all I have.
Yeah, and so we collect those entries at the same time that people are getting their GABF entries to the collection points.
Right.
So,
Are you as a consumer or as a brewery planning on going to GABF? Because if you are, the Arizona Craft Brewers Guild has a booth.
we do.
And we would love to see you. Come over, say hi, give us a high five. Maybe I'll create a special sticker. Maybe I'll make some friendship bracelets for people who stop by our booth.
Yeah.
That's a lasting impression. And it's a great event.
Right. So there's, 7 or 8 breweries that are committed to their own booth.
Yes, we have Huss, we have Mother Road Brewing Company, we have
Simple Machine.
Ranch Hand, Simple Machine, and Wren House that are all going to have their own booths.
Right. So
Plus, we'll have a booth.
This is an opportunity for us to bring beers that might be from those breweries, but aren't ones you can have at those particular booths at GDBF.
However, we can only pour beers from breweries that are guild members.
Yes. The second thing is we can also pour those beers from breweries who wouldn't have the budget to commit to an entire booth and the
Absolutely.
manpower. So
Yeah, they would love to see their beers, even if one of the brewery employees says, "I want to go to GABF. I'm just going to go. I'm going to take a week off. Bye."
yeah.
And their coworkers are like, "Cool, we'll miss you. Bring back some good shit, or talk to some people, do the thing." And they go up there. They could tell us they're doing that, and then we could serve their beer, and they could actually go to GABF and taste their own beer that their brewery made.
Yeah.
That's super exciting. Super exciting.
Yep. And we have some people that are asking to volunteer, so we need to make some decisions. If you're hearing this and you are a brewery employee, or if you're not, or you're a fan, if you have beers, not breweries, just if you can identify a beer that you think should be there, let us know. Like we have a process, we have some requirements. One of them is guild membership, but we also have to balance the lineup just like any other place.
Right. Like you can't have 8 IPAs.
Right.
Oh wait, how many beers are we gonna have? Like 10 total? Because it's 5, and then 5, and then 5.
Well, they don't have the evening session anymore. So
On Saturday,
I have to
yeah.
look at the paperwork. So
So there's 3 sessions.
let's just say on average we as a we'll bring between 5 and 10 usually. We don't usually get the first couple of years I just brought everything, but it gets to be a little hard to manage, and
Absolutely.
so we'll make an editorial choice. But yeah, if you have an opinion about it, especially if it's something that you think represents Arizona, or
Drop a comment down below. Smash that like.
how about
Subscribe
if you have
for
a number,
life.
text us.
Did I do it right?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's also a way to record your voice, and if your audio is somewhat usable, you can put it on the podcast.
If you go to azberryfrontier.com,
Yeah, there's
that's the website, and you can find
Basically, there's a voicemail you can leave.
voicemail to leave.
You can use your phone, or you can use your computer, whatever. So that's happening. We need to get that list tightened up by next week.
Pronto.
So if you're listening on Thursday or
I have
Friday,
less
you
than
got-
a week to finish this up.
Yes, you do. Yes, we do. So what else we got? Oh, we got Happy 4th of July.
That's it. That's
Oh.
the end of this podcast.
I thought we were going to talk about AI. No?
No,
No?
it's not this time. We'll talk about it again. This is a nice, concise
Holiday?
podcast, ready for you to edit and get it
All
out.
right. All right.
And then you don't have to suffer through listening to me over and over 100 times.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. Great. Happy
Cheers.
4th of July, everyone. Happy 4th of July, Rob.
Happy 4th of
Hope
July.
you have a great time, and let's all give good vibes into the world for no forest fires.
Right. Everybody keep all your fingers.
Keep your fingers, no forest fires, drink lots of water. It's going to be hot for the next week in Arizona. It's extreme heat warning.
You have my permission to lose some arm and hand hair to
Mhm.
to your
Mhm.
barbecue grill because that
Mhm.
happens, but that's about it.
Oh, I have a new pizza grill. I
Yeah.
have a new pizza oven.
Right.
That's my 4th of July. Oh,
I'm gonna
what
make
is
sure
this
that you-
here? What's going on?
No, I want to make sure. I want to see how much hair you have on your
Still
arms.
5 hands.
Yeah.
I think it's 5 hands. Wow. 5 fingers on each
Yeah.
hand. I don't know about what's going to happen, but yeah, it's going to be a pizza, 4th of July. Plus, I got some cheddar bratwurst
Mhm.
that, I don't know, maybe they're probably on sale if I'm thinking it was me at a grocery store.
Right on.
And I froze them, so they're in the fridge to thaw. I got 2 days.
I feel like you're cutting into my AI time right now.
I know, that's because we're
Alright,
talking
well, let's talk
food,
about
which
AI
is so
news.
exciting. What are you doing for your food on 4th of July?
I'm gonna make tortillas. I haven't done that in a while.
Yes, it has been a long time.
I'm gonna make tortillas and then we'll see. We'll go from there.
Damn.
I mean, I could just eat a lightly hot sauced buttered tortilla, fold it up. Yeah, I could eat that.
And you'd be like, America,
Right.
heck yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, and again, I cut out the curse word.
Yeah.
America, heck yeah.
All right.
All right, thanks everybody. Have a great holiday weekend, and we'll talk to you next week.
Cheers.
Wait,
No, we're keeping it no frills.
sometimes the beer finds
No,
you.
no,
What about,
no,
it's not a
no,
beer podcast, it's a podcast about beer? How about that?
no.
Nope, we're out. Okay, bye. You have 0 editing to do, bro.